Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Lisa. I'm spiritual coach Lisa Hop. It is Sunday, February 19th, 2023. I don't know. Oh, welcome. I don't know if you could hear it in my voice, but I am still trying to come back to my full wellness state, to clear out my sinuses completely, to have my voice back completely, though it's been doing pretty well. It can still go froggy again, as I like to call it. So bear with me during this podcast if it does seem to go in another direction. If you are new to my podcast, welcome. Please be sure to check out my website at lisahop.com for all about my work, my services, my upcoming events. Most of my services are available through telephone and Zoom. So no matter where you are in the world, and I do have clients around the world, you don't have to miss out on them, which is a wonderful thing. And for those of you coming back every week, and for your generosity, your just kind thoughts and support and kindness, thank you. I appreciate you so much. And I'll hope to remind you at the end, but if you're listening to this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and share. I'd appreciate it so very much. And if you are on Facebook under my business page, please follow me there and bring other people there, please. And I'm also on Instagram under Spiritual Coach Lisa Hop. Well, so 3 months ago, I started to feel achy. And it kind of came out of nowhere. It really came out of nowhere. And I knew immediately there was more going on than just walking on a hard surface too long. But I hoped to give it time and for it to begin to heal on itself. And it has. It has had healing on its own. And then, of course, you do something sometimes that tweaks it. And then you're back, not completely to square one, but back to where it started. But I knew at the beginning that I knew at the beginning when it went on that it wasn't something that a couple days later was completely healed, that it was more than just wearing my legs out while I walked around the hard floor of a shopping center. So, did it aggravate it? Absolutely. I knew that there was also an emotional, a spiritual, a mental component to this. And perhaps also a physical one as well, of course. Well, fast forward to the beginning of 2023, and then we have the froggy. I don't think I've had my usual voice all of this year, to be honest, at all, for the last month and a half. And like with the achiness, there are moments when it's better, and there are moments when it's back. And I knew as well, there's something more going on. And of course, well, I know of course, but the universe sends you messengers. And as I'm thinking this to myself and asking my peers, what can you help me with this? What am I holding on to? I'm also getting other messengers that are asking me, what are you holding on to? You got to let go of it. And I know. You see, our body holds on to our thoughts and our feelings, our past, our unhealed stuff. It holds on to it like matter. And sometimes it's so subtle that we don't realize it's happening. Sometimes we don't realize that when we break a bone in our foot, that sometimes there's more going on than just we tripped. There's a weakening that has happened in some way, perhaps. And I say perhaps because I'm sure it's individual to each person. But when something's ongoing, when your immune system is weakened, And I haven't had anything in 3 years as far as a cold or anything. There's something more going on. It's not just a luck of the draw that I walked into a venue and maybe someone had a germ that they gave to me. I have to be susceptible to that. I have to be open to that. Wayne Dyer used to say that he was in such a higher vibration state that he could walk through airports, he could walk into rooms, and he wouldn't catch a cold or anything because his immune system was strong from how he felt. So that can be the case as well. Sometimes we're not aware that we're storing, and sometimes we're not aware of how we feel, how much that matters. If you're sad, if you're angry, if you even depressed, if you are impatient, any emotions that tend to be lower, that weakens your immune system. But when you feel joy, happiness, and I mean real joy and happiness, inside, calm, free, you have a strong immune system, and it doesn't matter what you've ever been diagnosed with. That doesn't matter. Your immune system is decided by what you're thinking and what you're feeling and what needs to be healed within you. So last week, another messenger said, "What do you need to release? What are you holding on to?" And I knew immediately. It was like an aha moment. And I'm not going to share that with you because it's personal, and I share enough personal. But let's just say there's varied emotions that one could feel. And those emotions don't have to be about an event that just happened, or a feeling just acquired. It doesn't always have to be about one as well. That's of an inner child that happened when you were 5. Sometimes we just carry things around with us. So I realized that the day that my achiness started, I was having emotions that day. And I had emotions that were sad and also bordered on frustration and anger. And instead of raging it out in the middle of a large shopping center, I stored it in. And it showed itself. That's how powerful we are. Now, it's a truth that all diagnoses come from an emotional place. That doesn't mean the person deserves it, asked for it, is to blame for it. It's just fact. But the wonderful thing is that where there is a cause, there is a cure. There is a way to heal it, even if it's just to make it better for you, to make the symptoms better, to give yourself more of a chance. And that is why laughter is the best medicine. That is why those who feel positive, who have enduring will, tend to do better when it comes to diagnosis. And so on the day, as I said, where my body reacted, I knew then what was going on. And I still traditionally try to heal it with rest and other methods. But really it's about going in and tackling those feelings. Well, guess what? No surprise. The froggy throat, the congestion that bottled up in my throat, it's not a sore throat. It's never been a sore throat. It's just been a bottle up of congestion. Is my inability or my, let me put it to you this way. It's linked to not being able to express myself or feeling that I shouldn't. Perhaps you are like this. I can't just spit it out. I can't go into saying something that might cause more issues, might come from a place of anger, because we have to watch our words. Maybe I'm like you, too nice a person sometimes, trying to be too positive. And so rather than have a confrontation, rather than speak truthfully to someone or more than one person and give it to them on a platter, not in a mean way, but just give it to them on a platter. Maybe that's something that I have to work on. Maybe that's something you have to work on as well. We should never speak to someone with name calling or anger or disrespect. It's not, but can we do it as humans? Absolutely. We're human, so always forgive yourself if you have a moment. I went into the end of last year and the beginning of this year wanting to be quiet, not wanting to say how I was feeling, what was still there that wasn't fully healed, what hurt I had been dealt. So what happens? The pain comes out in another way. The throat gets bottled up. So I've got some work to do. As perhaps you have some work to do. Doesn't necessarily come out in a discomfort. Doesn't necessarily come out in a cold. It can come out in feeling pressure in the head and they can't find why. All symptoms where you cannot find why is related to this. Are related to this. Stress, worry, unexpressed emotions, trying to be nice. It's all related. If you can't find a reason, there is one. There's a root cause. And even when you can find a reason, there's a root cause. So you are worth looking into. You are worth giving yourself that meeting. Why have your sleep patterns changed? Why does a foot keep giving you an issue? There's something stored there. When I went for healing at the beginning of this year, I was still working on, might have been the end of last year, but no, I think it was the beginning of this year. I knew there was something I was storing. And so I looked up the great Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. And what I was holding on to was a matter of pride and ego. Now, that can have different meanings for everybody. Pride has different meanings. It could be I just want to be the spiritual life coach. And so rather than have a disagreement, I'm going to bottle it up. So I knew I had to go to work on that. And then as soon as I go to work on that, I get the throat bottle up. Now today, I don't know if you hear it, it's all wanting to come out physically. And I want it to come out emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. But you see, in this world, you can't go up to people and say, it's sometimes not best to unload on people. And sometimes it is. It depends on the situation. There is really perhaps not a right and wrong way. It's individual. Use your intuition. Discern. Is this something that needs to be spoken or written in a letter? Or is this something that I can release myself? Ultimately, the releasing is yours, and you do have to release it yourself, whether you speak to someone in some way or not. For me, I feel like it's my role to let it go. What's the point of taking the duffel bag and unloading it on another person? Now, sometimes I'm in a situation where another person wants to unload their duffel bag on me. Thankfully, not a lot. But in your close relationships of life, that can happen. And perhaps that it then is the time to speak honestly, or just stand up for yourself. I'm not going to be talked to like this again. I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to allow hypocrisy to happen. Well, what you say I do to you, you've done to me many times, which is still standing up. That's okay. It is so important to stand up for yourself, to honor yourself. You're your own best friend. You're responsible for you. You are responsible for you and your happiness and your well-being, your health, the love that is in your environment. It's your responsibility. It's nobody else's. So because I know that, I tend not to go to someone and say, you have to change. You have to be different. But should I stand up for myself when something is happening to me that is not good, that is not honoring me, that is not being what I deserve? Absolutely. Yes. So that's what I have to give up, is that thinking that it's not okay to do that. That I have to keep peace in some way all the time. That I have to keep it within and let go of it myself. Do I have to do that for the most part? Yes. But are there moments when I should speak? Yes. Do you see the difference? And here's what I've also learned. In our lives, it feels to be those that will say they love us the most that we have to do this work with. It is not the stranger. That's easy to let go of. Or the acquaintance. It is that close relationship. That partner or ex-partner. Perhaps friends. Family. There's a license given. You're stuck with me, so I can give you whatever day I'm going through. I don't have to try as hard. It's like they know, or they feel, or perhaps they're taught that the relationship is unconditional. And so, no matter what moment they have, you're going to stick around. But that's not the case and shouldn't be the case, no matter who it is. It has to be about your health, your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, your physical well-being. If any relationship in your life is unhealthy, you got to separate a bit from it. And how much you do is completely up to you. Sometimes people have to be cut completely. Sometimes it's just a matter of space. I found in the past, and I don't know why I stopped doing it. I'm going to take actual coffee drink today. One moment. I have found in the past that when I've spoken up to my primary relationships in a balanced way, not in an angry way or raise my voice, I tend not to raise my voice. So it always cracks me up when someone around me says, "You're raising your voice." I'm like, no, I'm not. But what it is that it's how they're hearing what I'm saying. It sounds, they're speaking about their emotional reaction to it, and they feel like it becomes louder. When I am generally, if I raise my voice, someone's in trouble. You may be like that too. You're pushed to the limit, and yeah, it would have to be, there's something extreme going on. But what I have found is when I do speak up in a very balanced way, in a strong way, in an empowered way, the person backs down. I've even had them laugh a little. Like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. Oh, I didn't really mean that. See how I totally handled the situation rather than let it build and build and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. You know, it's important to treat yourself as the important, oh my God, priceless being that you are. No? And I have to be reminded of it as well. That I am a big, an energetic being that is priceless, that is important. And maybe sometimes going for the peace, not saying it, bottling it up, is not the way to go. So here's what I'd like to say to you. Again, you have to discern when it is appropriate, perhaps, or for the higher good, to actually bring the other people into this. That may be the helpers of this healing that needs to take place, because they're a part of what needs to be healed. Release within. Let it out. If it's rage, scream it out. You know, do like a primal scream like Yoko Ono used to do. Perhaps write a letter and burn it. Perhaps jog it off. Whatever works, and try different things. I'm a big believer in the help that comes with the Ho'oponopono prayer. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. There's the Sedona method from Hale Droskin. It's a book, it's classes, but it comes down to, could you let it go? Would you let it go? When? And you measure it. You measure those feelings until they get down real low, to like 2 or 1 or 0. You're releasing them. So perhaps we all like the Frozen song, Let It Go. Oh, but it's such a wise song. Let it go, let it go. Because the more you let go, and I don't mean letting it go and accepting it, letting it go and not dealing with it. I mean releasing it from the inside of you. Letting it not have the power to impact your physical body, to impact your happiness, to impact your life in any way that is not what you most wanted to do. Apparently, my 2023 is about letting it out. And I can tell you I've had a lot of wonderful things happen to me. A lot of generosity, a lot of kindness. But I've also had, even this week still, tests. People wanting more of my energy. People not thinking of anyone else but themselves. And here's the thing, we're supposed to think of ourselves first, but not to the detriment of another. In a blocked way, meaning it's all about me and it's a difference. I'm trying to word my wording correctly. It's a difference between being in that flow of give, take. Sometimes people can test you by being the takers, and you have to block that coming. And so I've had that this week still. It's ciphering away, but more lopsided. It should never be lopsided. Lopsided will give you lopsided results. So you give to yourself, and then you give to others, or allow them to give to you. There's a flow. Receive, give, receive, give. But sometimes people block thinking that maybe that's not the best thing to do, is to ask and receive from someone. And no means no. Doesn't it? No means no. So, I've seen the test still come in, or I've seen the vibration still come in. And this is just a year, I suppose, where I heal what's within me and release it. And then I'll watch and see that the testers go away more and stop testing. It's just trickling now. It's, for instance, by not speaking up, I am not valuing me, right? So sometimes people do not want to value me. It's like attracts like. But as I said, it's trickling. Notice that in your own life. How are people treating you? As I said, I've had wonderful generosity too. It's not been all awful. It's not been mostly awful. There's just hints of things still needing to be healed. And so watch that in your life. The teachers will show you what needs to be healed. It's so very important. And the wonderful thing is that you have the power to heal. You are in control. You are at the steering wheel. And that's wonderful. You're not in this world as a puppet. It's not random. No, you're not here and it's like, okay, maybe today I'll get some good luck. No, you create it. So create that knowing that you deserve to feel good inside, to honor yourself, that you are more than enough, that you are priceless again. And I'm going to work on that as well. And maybe I'm not supposed to be completely a peaceful warrior, but maybe I am. Maybe I'll let you know next time how it's all going. The better you feel inside, the more released, the better your immune system is, and the better your outside world is. And you can fight off anything. You can block anything if you're in that heightened state. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, please like, subscribe, and share. Please follow me on my Facebook business page. Also, I have a newsletter under lisahop.com. Please sign up for that if you'd like to know what's going on. I am one that believes you don't send a lot of emails. I don't want them really to turn into spam. So, maybe once a month I'll send something. So it's risk-free to sign up. And also Instagram. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday and a week of many blessings.